Man, I'm telling you, this is hard on a fat boy. I'm thinking a few less Cheetos and a few more push-ups and sit-ups back in January and February to help this situation out some. But 96 degrees when I left the truck, and boys, 96 degrees here ain't nothing like anybody's ever experienced if you haven't been here. 96 degrees in Appalachia is about like 105 somewhere else. By the time you add the humidity in here, I'm just drenched, and I mean soaking wet. Of course, you got to attribute part of that to that intense fitness regimen that I have going on here. But I'm telling you, it's brutal. And you know, when you come out on days like this checking trail cameras, you just might as well figure on getting wet, because you're going to be soaked with sweat when you come back to the truck. If you're not, there's something wrong with you. But I tell you what, the modern day deer hunter is a spoiled fella now, let me tell you. And I'm right there with him. Buddy of mine, a good buddy of mine, he insists he won't shoot a deer unless he can get the ATV or the side-by-side to drag it out. He said if he's got to drag a deer, it just flat ruins the hunt. And I'm just about to the point where I agree with that line of thinking in some part. But man, I'm telling you, what I wouldn't give for a case of cold water right now. But we got 3 stations down, 3 cameras up. We got 3 more to go, and you know, I'm enjoying every bit of it. You know, I enjoy running trail cameras just as much as I do sitting in the tree stand. Well, I guess maybe almost as much. But you know, if you don't like running trail cameras and you don't like putting out minerals and food plots and supplements, then maybe you ought to give it a try, because you're really missing out. I tell you right now, as I look around, you look in this big canopy, you know, people don't often realize just how much deer change their habits throughout the year. And you know, it's so much cooler in this canopy right now with the shade and the breeze through here. You know, this is a type of situation where, you know, deer may not necessarily like it come fall. You know, there's no cover in here whatsoever, very little food, but it's cool. And when it's 105 outside with the heat index, 96 on the thermometer, this is where I'd want to be. Matter of fact, we jumped a little 3-year-old out of here when I come in. Looks like he's just about as wide as his ears right now. Here we are in late June, so he's got a chance to be a decent buck here by the end of the year. But people got to pay attention to how deer operate. And here, when it's summertime like this, you know, you got to go where the shade is. You know, you got to think to yourself, what are they most wanting right now? What is it they is most appealing to a deer right now? And when it's 96 degrees on the thermometer, you know, they're looking for water, they're looking for shade, they're looking for comfort. And it's no different than what you and I'd be looking for. gets into these late summer, early fall weeks and months, and the deer are transitioning from their summertime protein-based diet into the fall carbohydrate-based diet, and we start our supplemental feeding program. There's a specific way I like to do it, and I'm not saying my way is any more right than somebody else's, but traditionally I don't really like feeders. I like to chum mine on the ground, but I'm very careful when I go into my feeding spots, and what I mean by that is between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. is when I like to get in there. If I can't get in that spot during that time frame, I just don't go. I just wait till the next day, even if it means the deer going a day or two without any feed. I don't want to run any risk at all of bumping any deer in that spot. So 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and I try to drop enough groceries off to where it's going to last them a week. I don't want to contaminate the area and disrupt anything any more than I have to. So 7-day feeding period, I chum it on the ground, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. regardless of what it is that you're feeding or any candy or toppers that you're using. I really think it's how you go about feeding is just as important or more important than what you're feeding. As the summer grind intensified and opening day drew near, Ross's target buck finally made his annual appearance, and the perfect storm was building. It was about to become showtime. Well, good morning. Here we are, the opener of the West Virginia bow season. And without a doubt, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I tossed and turned, and after a lot of stewing and thinking and studying and just soul searching, I decided to give it a whirl this morning. As I said earlier, with checking these cell cameras, what I've learned with Showtime is if he shows up in daylight, if he's there in shooting light, in the evening prior, typically he visits the site at least 2 more times during the course of the night, and then again in the morning. So what we found last night is that he was there, and when I got up this morning, set the alarm for 4:30. When I got up this morning, he was there one more time around 2 a.m. and I'm rolling the dice. It's like I said, it is a high risk, high reward scenario. This could really define my bow season, because he is without a doubt my #1 target buck, and you may only get one chance at this rascal. If I get in here and screw it up and I blow it, I may not get another chance. So wish me luck. When I pull in, I'm going to check the camera one more time here on my phone and see if there's anything in there, specifically see if he's in there, and we're going to slide in there quietly in the back door and get set up. Ideally, I want to be in the stand 1 hour before daylight. It's getting daylight just about 7:05 right now. So ideally, I want to be in there around 6 a.m. So got about a 10-minute drive to get there, and I'll get dressed there. I got my clothes here in a tote here beside me, and I'll get sprayed down and get set up.
That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about right there. Opening day, West Virginia bow season. Showtime is on the ground. Of course, if that don't get you excited, you need to find yourself another hobby. Alright, I've reviewed the footage and I think it's pretty solid. Fortunately for me, Nathan's wife is shopping today, which leaves him available for some tracking duty. So I'm going to walk to the top of the hill, give this deer just a little bit of time, and get him called Nathan. But I feel pretty confident after looking at the shot. I think we'll be in business here shortly.
Here you need somebody with a strong back and a weak mind.
Strong back, weak mind. Get your gum boots and dragon harness. It's go time.
It doesn't sound like that deer's where I'd like it to be then.
Well, I heard him go down, but that's about all we got going for us right now. So I'll tell you about the shot here in a minute, but it's a healthy shot.
Awesome. We'll redo that footage and see where he's at and go get him.
Okay.
I smell deer. You smell deer? Yeah, I smell deer.
Right here.
Found him.
Excellent.
Uh-oh.
Excellent.
Eli, look. There he is, bud.
He's bigger than I thought he was.
Holy smokes, Ross.
Oh my. Eli, would you look at that?
Yeah.
Oh my. Wow. What do you think of that, Eli?
He's big.
He's really big. Holy cow. Look at the body on that jewel. Look at the body. Look at the mass on that joker. Folks, here we are, the opening day of the West Virginia bow season 2018, and I'm almost at a loss for words. Folks that know me well know that doesn't happen often, but we've been following this deer the last 30 days or so. We had this deer named Showtime because, ironically enough, he showed up last year just in time for the West Virginia rifle season. I had never laid eyes on this deer before, had never run across him on cameras, and all of a sudden, boom, he shows up right in time for the West Virginia rifle season. And Logan actually has a shed from him from February this year. And we got to do a little research and talking to some neighboring landowners, and this deer is a 6.5-year-old deer, and we can show that through trail camera pictures through this neighboring farm. And this deer was actually hit in the 2016 season by that same neighbor, and he hit him high in no man's land and obviously didn't recover the deer. His rack went down a little bit last year, but still carried that same shape when he showed up for us during that rifle season. And he disappeared. We didn't see him all spring, didn't see him all summer, and boom, just like that, 30 days before the season opens, he shows up, and he's basically been here just about every day. And what I've come to find on this deer is weather was very, very much a factor in how he did things. And these cooler temperatures, being an older deer, you know, their core area gets a little bit smaller, but these cooler temperatures is what got him on his feet just a little bit sooner in the day. This week, leading up to the opener, was nothing but rain. We had, what,
2 inches of rain just in the last 24 hours?
In the last 24 hours. In the last, in the 21 days leading up to our season, we've had 18.5 inches of rain in my neighbor's, in my dad's rain gauge.
Probably the wettest September I can ever recall.
Absolutely. Usually September is only about a 4-inch rain month. And I say in 21 days we've got 18.5 inches.
And this week leading up to this opening day here in West Virginia, it's rained all day. It rained every day. And yesterday we had a little bit of a break, and the temperatures fell as that high pressure took over. And I kind of suspected that he might be on his feet a little bit early last night. And the thing I've found with this deer is if he is there on camera in daylight in the evening, 9 times out of 10 he's right back there again the next morning. So I'm not a morning hunter this time of year. Guys, I'm telling you, don't make this a habit of going to your stand early in the season in the mornings. But you know, I took a chance, I rolled the dice, and it certainly paid off. And when you become addicted to bow hunting, it is really something special. But to be able to do it with your friends and fellow team members, that's what it's all about. And I couldn't be more thankful for the group that we put together here. It's a long story how Nathan and I met many years ago, but you know, our friendship has really, really developed over the years, and I guess I'll probably have to put him on some turkeys come springtime to help pay for the drag time today, because it's gonna be a chore getting this old dude out of here. He's a hog of a deer. Quite honestly, the biggest bodied deer I've ever killed. I've killed some that's gonna score a little better, but the mass on this deer is just incredible. The body is really, really something to behold. But Showtime is on the ground here at the beginning of the West Virginia archery season 2018.
It's a dandy deer.
He's a dandy.
What do you call a deer this big, Eli? Say that's a what? What kind of deer is that?
A boss buck.
That's
He
right.
is
He
a boss
is the boss buck.